Hello, Thomas. This is Kevin here. I put together a quick video for you to help fix the problems that you're having. So anyways, I just threw together this really rudimentary little trailer, sort of. Anyways, not as pretty as yours, but the whole idea is just to sort of show you what's going on here. So we're inside a Rhino. We have this geometry. None of this stuff is Boolean together or anything like that. But we want to get this model into ZBrush so we can do some stuff to it. So the first thing we can do here is select our model that we want to export. We're going to go to File. We're going to go up here and Export Selected. We want to obviously choose an OBJ. Here's all your selections here, and right here is an OBJ. I'm just going to call this test 3 and save it to my desktop for right now. Now, when you do that, you get these selections here. And the main thing that you want to do here is just make sure that polygon mesh is selected, and everything else you can leave at default. All this you can just leave go. Select OK. Now normally what will happen is you'll get this guy right here, and you can move this slider to add more polygons and things, but what you're really better off doing is going to detailed controls, and the defaults come up in Rhino this here. And what I would do is just zero all of these out and take all this to 0, and then down here at maximum distance edge to surface, you want to set that to 0.002. Leave refine mesh on, uncheck pack textures. Click OK, and there it's saved. So let's go over to ZBrush and let's take a look at what you're running into. So I'm going to open up ZBrush here, and now my tools might be a little bit different than yours, but it's all the same thing. So here you're clicking on this quick import that they have under the tools palette. And when you click on this, and we go out there and select that file on the desktop there, where's test 3? We can go ahead and drag this out here, and we want to click edit so that we're ready to do our sculpting and things. But if we look at geometry here and you want to divide this because you're only at 32,000, this is where you're running into problems because of the steps that you took. So what you have here is when you actually divide this, it's going to basically end up splitting this all apart, because when you brought this in, you basically have these surfaces that are just simply, it's, I guess the best way to describe it is they're just touching each other. They're not actually fused or welded together. So if we actually look at the geometry, so if we look at this here, the wheels look pretty good because, see, they're all done in quads. The rest of this are these big triangles. And that's because Rhino can't export in quads. All right. So the wheels look good. I did these in T-splines, and T-splines does export as quads. So what you want to do here is this. So if we actually take and let me move this thing out here again. So if you take this thing and you divide it, as you can see, this thing explodes apart. So all these seam points here are all being torn apart because those edges, none of those edges and points are welded together. So this is where your problem's coming in. So here's how we're going to fix that. So I'm going to close this. We're going to go ahead and open ZBrush again. Come up here in a second. Alright, so let's go back, and I'm going to click import again. We're going to go back and grab that same model, our test 3, which is right there. I open it, but before I actually click to edit this, you're going to go down here and you see all these selections come up down here, and you want to click import. And what you want to do is you want to slide this all the way over to 0.01 so that all those points and edges get welded together. And we're going to select import, and it's going to ask you to go select that same file again. So I bring it in again. Now I can actually drag this out here, click edit. I can rotate this thing, and now what will happen is if I actually oops, there, gotta watch what I'm doing here. If I actually divide this now, it'll start to divide, but again, see how everything sort of pulls apart. So the best way to deal with Rhino and this geometry is getting this put into, because if we take a look here, again, it's still done in triangles here. We want it to be nice quads. So this is what Decimation Master will do for you. So, or I'm sorry, Dynamesh, I apologize. So I'm going to go down here to Dynamesh, and I usually set this anywhere from like 5 to 700. We'll just set it at 500 right now. Leave project on. You can always add polish. I would leave polish off if you want to keep as much of the geometry as possible. And click Dynamesh. And let ZBrush do its thing. And it's going to go ahead and rebuild this. Basically, it's going to shrink wrap this entire model that you have here. And if you look here, now we have these nice little pretty quads in here. So now ZBrush can actually take and do things with this. So if we, let's see here, if we want to start sculpting now on this, now you can start sculpting like crazy. And you're not going to affect anything. You can do whatever you want with this. You can end up re-dynameshing it again if you'd like. If your geometry starts to get funky, and you can tell because that it got shrink wrapped, because if you look in these areas here where I didn't have this all Boolean together, it'll start to fill in any voids or anything that's there, because it's basically shrink wrapping this model for you. So that pretty much in a nutshell is how I deal with it. And forgive me for sort of a rocky video, but I actually have an automated plugin that does all this stuff for me that a friend of mine developed. And so I don't even bother with any of this anymore, but so it took me a while to remember how I used to come in here and do this. So that's what you got. Hopefully that helps you out. Talk to you soon.